Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be diving into the Judas Priest Rising in the East concert DVD. It comes in a standard plastic DVD case with no booklet inside, but the inside sleeve has a short essay and the DVD credits, while the back cover shows the set list. Stick around until the end and I will display the full set list for this concert. So as the video begins, the stage is illuminated in an eerie dark blue haze as an ominous drone pumps out of the speakers. The crowd dizzily anticipates the first sign of a priest as a giant roving electric eye stalks the crowd from high above center stage. Without warning, the drone is overpowered by the twin guitar leads known as the Hellion, which eventually climaxes into the only follow-on possible, Electric Eye, perched high above the drum kit, dressed in a full-length, metal-studded black leather jacket. Head priest Rob Halford appropriately greets his worshippers with, "Up here in space, I'm looking down on you." It's like I've just been transported back in time to that glorious night in 1982 when the World Vengeance Tour swept through my town, and I laid witness to one of the greatest heavy metal concerts in history. Everything was in place: the magnificent twin guitar attack of Glenn Tipton and KK Downing, Ian Hill's pummeling bass lines, the same 70s era hairstyles and biker attire, and the massive Spinal Tap-like stage show were as familiar as the first time I saw them. The metal god himself, Rob Halford, is back in charge after a 12-year absence, delivering the same punishing vocals as before. The only new piece of the puzzle is drummer Scott Travis, who took over the kit in 1990, just in time for the excellent Painkiller album. Judas Priest's previous concert DVD was 2002's Live in London, which featured a young Tim Ripper Owens replacing Rob Halford as the man in front. It was clear that this aging band could still play their collective asses off, and Owens was about the best Halford replacement they could have hoped for. But there was something missing. The heart and soul of the band was dormant, and you could feel it in the air. With Halford now back in front, that soul has been reawakened and the Priests are rejuvenated. The reunited Priest lineup released the brutal Angel of Retribution album in early 2004, and a headlining world tour commenced shortly after. Rising in the East is a document of their May 18th, 2005 show at the Tokyo Budokan, as they paid back the worshipping Japanese fans who graciously let them be unleashed in the East 26 years prior. After the killer intro of Hellion and Electric Eye, they dive straight into a couple more early 80s classics, starting with the British steel hit Metal Gods, followed by the lesser-known Screaming for Vengeance gem Riding on the Wind. From there, it was a good mix of old, new, and really old. The Ripper and Victim of Changes take you all the way back to their breakthrough 76 album, Sad Wings of Destiny, and also proved to be highlights of the show. The new Angel of Retribution album was heavily represented by 5 songs this night, which was probably a few too many for me. Although this was a decent enough comeback album, it just does not stack up against Priest's best work, in my opinion. I do really respect, however, when these legendary bands proudly perform their new material on tour, and find it rather pathetic when similar bands completely ignore their new stuff. Although the 5 new songs were mostly unremarkable, they are certainly some of the heaviest and darkest stuff the band has done in a while. Judas Rising is easily the standout track from Angel of Retribution. The song is powered by the ferocious double bass drum assault of Scott Travis and Halford's hair-raising screams, along with the catchy guitar riffs from Tipton and Downing to make this an instant Priest classic. Worth Fighting For features Halford singing in a lower register as the song works off a slower groove, but it kind of fails to really ever take off. Deal with the Devil sounds like classic early 80s Priest, while Revolution falls closer to Painkiller territory. But neither really command my attention for the duration. Halford was really starting to show his age a lot more here as well. His vocals are still impressive, but he did have some trouble hitting and sustaining many of those penetrating high notes that made him famous. Although it was awesome to see Halford fronting Judas Priest again, he seemed kind of lethargic this night, especially during the first handful of songs, where he spent much of the time kind of slumped over and singing to the stage most of the time. His interactions with the crowd also seemed a little more forced than genuine most of the time. Fortunately, the adrenaline or something else eventually kicked in for the second half of the show, and Halford seemed more like the legendary frontman I remembered. The rest of the band, however, were in top form the entire concert, performing every bit as good as the legends I saw over 20 years prior. The production of this DVD gets good marks overall. Both DTS and Dolby Digital 5.1 surround options are provided, along with a powerful LPCM stereo track. Both surround tracks use the rear speakers rather prominently, mirroring what you hear from the fronts and place you right into the front row of the crowd. Although the picture is only presented in full frame aspect ratio instead of widescreen, it is reasonably clear and sharp for a 20-year-old DVD, but the colors did quite look oversaturated at times. Just don't expect an HD quality here. The camera director provided a variety of great angles of the stage and captured all of the essential band close-up shots. Split screens were used occasionally, but not so often as to be too distracting. Unfortunately, there were no extra features included at a time when a band interview would have been pretty fascinating considering the circumstances of the previous few years with Halford returning. The set list shown here featured 23 songs and the total runtime was 120 minutes. As for my ratings of this concert DVD, my overall production rating is an 8 out of 10. And my overall performance rating is also an 8 out of 10. All right, that's it from me today. Let me know your thoughts on the Judas Priest Rising in the East DVD in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Please also support this channel by using the Amazon Associates links in the description for some of the DVDs and CDs I mentioned in the review. Thanks, and catch you next time.